It's a Christmas miracle. In the studio, we have the two coolest off-road trucks you could buy today.
I think
at least
so.
in the full-size half-ton category. So what are we talking about? What we got our hands on?
Well, we have the first ever here, 2025 Ram RHO. This is the latest super truck from Ram. And we have the baddest, I think, and also that we've proven, maybe the quickest combustion pickup truck ever made. The Raptor R F-150.
Now, for all of you guys out there who are thinking, where's the TRX? The answer is it's not being made anymore. Unless Tim Kuniskis, who's back at...
He's back.
He's back. He may have some influence because they just announced that they're going to be building the Hellcat engine in the Durango for another year. Would it be that hard to slip it into this truck? I'm hoping not. Wouldn't that be a Christmas miracle?
That would be. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We'll answer your questions. I'm going to grab a laptop, right? Okay. So we can see your comments, your questions. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hanukkah is starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Festivus is over.
Yes, so thank you for joining us. This is a holiday season, and we wanted to give you a special show.
As always, we'll do a full walk around, kind of give you the ins and outs of these trucks. We'll compare them, and then at the end, we'll answer your questions. But I think we have to start with the price, Andre, because there is quite a disparity of price. So let me put it this way. You could either buy this, the Ford Raptor R,
yes,
or you could buy this and the Honda Civic for the same amount.
Yeah, that's a difference, a Honda Civic difference.
Yeah, about 30,000 difference between the two. So what's the price on these two?
So this starts at about 72,000. The truck you see here has the luxury package they call level 1, which is now 84,000. This starts at the 112 for the R, I'm sorry, for the R. But this has a couple of other things, so this is 114.
Now, a lot of people may be thinking, doesn't this more compete with the regular Raptor? And it's kind of a tweener in that regard, right? Because this, well, let's look under the hood, and we'll tell you why it's a tweener. Because here we have a straight six that produces more power than the equivalent Raptor.
By the way, they've kept the TRX hood, right, basically. So this is the functional air intake. You got amber lights here, markers. And you know why these trucks have amber lights?
Because they're too wide.
Yes.
But you know what? I'm kind of old school. I like them on top of the roof.
Like a heavy-duty truck.
Yeah. But this is fine too. Ford started that, of course. I think they were the first to kind of put them in the grill versus on the roof. So this is the Hurricane.
Yeah. So the reason why you said it's a tweener, right? Because the Hurricane high output. This is a twin turbo, straight six, 3-liter, makes more power than the regular F-150 Raptor.
A lot more power.
540 horsepower versus 450.
Yeah, so 100 more.
Yeah, so almost 90 more horsepower, which is a big chunk of power, and 521 pound-feet of torque, and it's got an 8-speed automatic behind it.
And so if you were to have a Raptor here, in terms of horsepower, this would be in the middle, and then the Raptor would sit like right here. So it'd be less, be like, like Goldilocks, right?
Yeah. A little bit less power.
Just right, too much.
Well, there's never too much, is there?
I'm kidding, no. There's no such thing as too much horsepower.
Right.
but that's where it would go. Let's look under the hood of the Raptor.
Yeah.
Because this has, we just learned something, right? We used to call this, what do we call it? The Predator for a long time, V8 out of the GT500. But Ford says, you are wrong, my man. This is not a Predator. This is a carnivore.
Well, isn't the Predator a carnivore?
It is, but it's a matter of...
Can you help me? This is too heavy.
I'll get it for you. I got it.
This truck is aluminum, but for being aluminum, this hood is kind of heavy for some reason.
So when they took the V8 5-liter out of the GT500, in that configuration, it was called a Predator. And when they stuck it in here because they changed it around a little bit, they decided to call it a carnivore. That is a bit of trivia that is useless to anybody outside of truck guys and gals.
I like Predator name nonetheless.
Yeah.
This is a 5.2-liter V8.
Sorry, so I missed it by 0.2.
Sorry, because the 5-liter is the Coyote, right?
Coyote, yeah.
So this engine is a little bit different, of course, and it's also this beautiful supercharger sitting on top of it.
So the biggest difference, right, were supercharged versus turbocharged.
Yeah. And this is 720 horsepower. So this is 180 more.
When we had ours, I thought it was less.
Yeah, so it came out in 2023, right?
Yeah.
We actually purchased one. We had it for a long-term tester. By the way, I'm pulling up your comments right here, so just one second. And then it was like 700, right? And you and I were wondering, why 700?
Because it's less than a TRX.
Because TRX had 702.
Yeah, so couldn't you go 704?
And then Ford said, well, hold on a minute. So they made 720. You know, they just said, let's go all the way.
Which makes you wonder if it could easily do 1,000. I
It
bet you
could be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it may affect the longevity, but it could easily do 1,000. And it's kind of buried in there. You know what I mean, Andre? It's a big old engine, but this is a big old truck, so it doesn't look that big.
It looks like there's space.
I know it does, doesn't it?
I mean, look, you could put a bigger supercharger, and many do, right?
Yeah.
There's like Velociraptors from Hennessy, many do, and functional air extraction, right? So it does have a hood bulge.
And then your main air intake is right there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, how do you distinguish your Raptor R from a run-of-the-mill Raptor? Well, of course, you have the R right there, which lets you know that you've spent a lot more money. And Ford did this a long time ago where they put the marker lights into the grille of the vehicle as opposed to on the roof. The one thing I never liked about ours, and I still don't like, I don't like this thing.
The bulge?
Yeah, it's just a silly bulge. It's just, I mean, it's plastic, and it's just like, it's a binnacle they stuck on top of the hood. And the problem with the binnacle sitting on top of the hood is that when you're driving it, it gets in the way of your sight. Now here's something interesting that Andre pointed out. Even though this truck, look at the wheels and tires. So the Raptor R sits on 37s,
Yeah.
whereas this is on 35s. Mm-hmm. But you would think with 37s, this would be a taller truck. Look at the mirrors. That's a little crazy, right? And
Yeah,
why is that, Andre? You showed me why this is.
Yeah, and look, Cole, you gotta get out, because the
it's
window is lower.
Because in the Ford, you've got this kind of F-150 lowered.
Yeah, you have to go around
You have to
the
come over
mirror
here.
just a
So
second.
Ford has done this for a long time. What we're looking at is this little slope
Yeah.
area right there. So the mirror actually sits lower than it does in the RHO. And I gotta say, Andre, I mean, this RHO might be an inch taller.
A little taller.
Which is weird because it's sitting on smaller wheels, smaller tires. And so you'd expect this to be the taller truck, but I think this RHO may actually be taller than the Raptor R. So a lot of suspension, and both have active suspension, of course.
Yeah, and I think we'll have to go in the back to show the suspension, but I want to make one more comment.
Yes.
Is that visibility is very important.
It's banned out of both trucks.
Yeah, but at least having a lower mirror on the Ford helps you a little bit, but both of them have camera systems. Of course, they have cameras in the front, on the sides, and in the back, in the bed as well, on top of the bed. So visibility is very important, and I'm glad that Ford actually gave you a little bit more glass.
Now we're looking at BFGs versus Goodyear. Here's something funny. So this truck, this Raptor R has 6,000 miles on it, and if you come and look at these rear tires over here, you can put this in two-wheel drive, and look, this has been driven by journalists, and it looks like they're almost, if these were like race car tires, I say they were cupped. But look how
they're a little bit cupped.
Yeah, they're
and
a little bit cupped.
You know what else is very interesting?
What?
It's the Raptors and the Raptor R. There's a four-wheel drive switch, right?
Yeah.
You could put it in two-wheel drive only.
That's what I said. That's why people have been doing burnouts with
Yeah,
it, basically.
but you can't in the RHO.
So you can't
RHO is four-wheel drive full-time, right? So
Yeah.
it's got an all-wheel drive system, and even though this truck has like 3,000 miles approximately, the tires look almost new.
Yeah, so here we're looking at ghost stickers, right? Black on gray for the RHO. Here we're looking at a very prominent R. You'll never forget that you're driving an R. And then let's look at the suspension, because like I said, they both have active suspension. I don't know if you can see it back there, but that's Fox.
So but new valves. So you see those two, one on top of the other. So it's got both compression and rebound now on the R. And Fox,
Right.
but RHO,
Bilstein.
Bilstein, and also dual valves. You could see like that little black box right there with two valves on the back of it.
And what does active suspension mean? It means you can set it to different driving conditions. So you can set it for Baja mode, where it gives you a different damping versus like tow mode, right? Where you don't want as much squat, even though both these trucks do squat quite a bit when you tow with them. I was thinking about this, Andre. Do people actually take these things in the desert?
I hope so.
So I was thinking about this. I was like, do people actually, when you go to like Glamis or someplace like that, right? Are you actually seeing people using the RHO or the Raptor R as like off-road race trucks, which is what basically these guys were
Designed
modeled
to
after?
do, yeah.
I think you do it once. And then the second time, you use them as your tow rig for your buggy or your side-by-side or your ATV. Because
Or like a status symbol, you flexing basically.
I just think that this is, I mean, this is what they're designed for. You take them out there and you're like, you know, if I get this thing stuck in the sand, it's a, you know what, to get out.
Cole, come over.
So
You talked about towing, right?
Yeah, so then you use it as your tow rig for your buggy.
So I have this our weight safe hitch. By the way, this is like the smallest and the lightest hitch they make. It still has a little scale in the back here, and this is capable of up to 10,000 pounds. They both tow about similar amounts. They're rated to tow about 8,500 pounds apiece. And payload on them is around 1,300 to 1,400 pounds, the way they sit here, because they do have some options. So they're still pretty usable trucks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, they're, in terms of truckage, they're, at least in terms of towage, they're a little bit better than a mid-size truck, but certainly not as good as a full-size truck, right? Because you can get a full-size truck to easily tow 10, even 12,000, or even more if you're going to go a little crazy, and these guys will do 8,500. So they are limited in that regard. You know, they do have full-size beds. This one is missing the little hooks, but that's because they're under the rear seats. And then Ford does give you power over here, Andre. So that's nice.
Yeah, at least 400 watts.
Yeah. Not like your old hybrid that had, you know, what was it,
7.2 kilowatts
watts of power. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's open that bed because there is a discussion happening here in the comments, Roman, about the RHO. And basically the discussion is, we mentioned the F-150 EcoBoost Raptor, right? And tunability of trucks. Because Ford also unveiled a factory-backed tune, performance tune for their Raptor trucks, including the F-150. And some people are saying that the RHO, first of all, this engine is unproven. So that's the first comment.
Yeah, but that's any new engine's unproven.
Well, hey, hold on a second. 2 years ago, Roman, you went, where did you go to drive the Grand Wagoneer?
Yeah, I went and drove, so that engine was in the Grand Wagoneer.
Yeah.
So it's been around for 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
2 years,
Yeah, so yes, it's unproven, but it's been around already. And also, the biggest comment about this engine in the RHO is that it's too high strung, right? There's got too much turbocharged pressure in it, of what, at least 26 PSI, and there's no more room left in this engine, and it's too high strung. But we've towed with this engine.
I mean, if you're going to criticize this truck for something, are the keys in these, Andre?
Yeah.
I will tell you, look at that.
Ooh. Wait, can I do that?
No. No, you can't do that. Oh, you can do it. I thought that Raptor R didn't do that.
Yes.
All right, well, let me show you the biggest criticism. I'm going to start this up just very quick. I don't want to kill us.
Okay.
So why don't you put your mic up there and you can listen to it. All right, here we go. Quick start up. There you go. What do you think of that? And the mics, of course, cut that sound. So especially in the Raptor. But
you know, Case said it best.
What did he say?
Case said that this engine sounds like a BMW high-performance engine.
It is a straight six.
Which is almost the same thing, right? Yeah. It sounds like a high-performance engine, but it's 6 cylinders.
So remember when Ford...
Should I start this?
Yeah, I'll do it. Remember when Ford came out with the Raptor and people were complaining about the sound of it because of the V6 twin turbo?
Yes.
And then they did the cross pipe to try to make it better.
And then the loop-de-loop, right?
Yeah, and then the backwards loop-de-loop.
They literally turned themselves into a pretzel.
Yeah, the problem is, Andre, it's hard, dare I say impossible, to surpass
You could straight pipe it.
A V8. It just sounds very flatulent.
You couldn't
but
straight pipe
let me show you what I mean.
Because of emissions and noise regulations.
Sure.
We have a lot of regulations.
But you know, there's that saying, right? There's no substitute for displacement.
There's no replacement. Oh, I'm going to kneel down here.
Right, there's no replacement. I'm going to start real quick.
Hold up.
Woo!
But you know what? As good as that sounds, which sounds amazing.
And by the way, I didn't have it in Baja mode there.
No.
I had that in normal mode.
TRX, I think, sounded better. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think the TRX did sound better.
The TRX just had, well, first of all, more displacement, right?
Yep.
The Hellcat is a 6.2, not a 5.2, and just had a throatier, something deeper than this Raptor R.
You know, for your Civic, you're also getting bead ready beadlock ready wheels.
Which are gorgeous. What do you think?
I like
Is
those.
that too much?
No,
Or
I
I
like
think
those.
it's just gorgeous looking.
Yeah, yeah. So you are getting a lot more for
You
that.
can do that here too.
Yep.
You can do beadlock capable wheels here as well, but this truck is not equipped.
All right, let's hop inside and show the insides. Cole, you want to jump in here as you are gazing at the comments?
Yes.
Andre?
Yes.
And I will just show them the interior of the trucks. Now the cab size is pretty much identical, so it's like, you know, all full-size trucks are about the same. So it's not like you're getting more cab in one or the other. But here, you are, let me start it up here. You're getting this giant, in this case, vertical screen.
14.5 inches, Roman.
Why isn't it starting up, Andre? What am I doing wrong? Why is it? It should be starting up. There it goes.
Maybe push the power button.
Oh, that's there.
There
We go.
You got it.
So the nice thing is that they have done a really good job of integrating real buttons next to the screen. So for your HVAC controls, in other words, your air conditioning, your heating, you've got real buttons. You've got auxiliary switches here, which are really elegantly done for things like a winch or maybe additional lights. You also have a real knob for tuning, real knob for volume, a really handy brake controller, and you may be wondering, but where is my gain? It's right there, and then it shows up on the screen. That's a little confusing at first. And then, of course, right here you've got your different modes, but you've got four-wheel auto, rear axle lock, four-wheel high, and four-wheel low, which is pretty standard. And you've got this launch control button, which the Raptor R does not have. Real buttons on the steering wheel, no big panoramic sunroof.
Which is optional.
Which is optional.
Yeah.
And this one for $84,000 doesn't have it. The big RHO.
It's Rhino.
Could be
There's a little
Rhino.
Rhino
And
symbol.
here's a crazy thing. There's a screen right there for the passenger. So the passenger can do things like control the music, see the navigation, see themselves because it's very reflective. So if you don't have this mirror, you've got this mirror. A lot of piano black, which I'm not in love with. A very nice thick steering wheel. Of course, paddle shifters and Harman Kardon sound. Am I missing anything, Andre? It's a beautiful interior, I have to say.
Yeah, and also massaging seats, Roman. Don't forget.
How could I forget?
Massaging seats.
All right, let's jump in.
Oh, hands-free driving. Did you say that?
I did not say that.
Hands-free driving, which is, you still have to pay attention, but it does offer that.
So is this where it watches your eyes?
Yes.
To make sure you're looking on the road. Does this have one of those, is this a traditional rear mirror or is it a
Camera.
big
It's got the camera.
It's got the camera, which is nice, especially when you're towing.
Yeah.
Because the camera is up higher. So let's compare that to the forward very quickly.
So while you're moving, Roman, Palm Bay had a question.
Yeah.
Palm Bay Jack's fan said he's got a 8,500-pound trailer as we're walking around.
So you can tow the trailer.
You could
but
tow
nothing
it,
else.
but here's the thing. These trucks are designed with softer springs, and they will squat.
Oh, they squat so much.
They squat.
We did the Ike on the RHO. It squatted a lot. Now, instead of a vertical screen, we're looking at a horizontal screen in the Ford.
Yeah.
We're looking at a little bit of a dated feature, right? It looks a little bit old now, especially compared to the RHO, but you do have real buttons and knobs for HVAC. Same thing for the radio, brake controller, drive modes. Let me start it up again. So this is on. Then your auxiliary switches are up here. 6 instead of 4, Andre.
Nice.
You got this big ass sunroof. This, of course, if you want to get rid of it, this does that. Ford does some really thoughtful features. And then, of course, this does that. And so if you're working, or in my case, eating, by the way,
Road trip.
by the way, check this out, Cole. I was eating French fries in here.
What?
And I was, yeah. And look, you don't need to drop stop. It catches your French fry.
Please don't say that.
Why?
Well, this doesn't belong to us.
People still eat.
Okay.
Okay. And then both have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is nice. Same thing, paddle shifters, real buttons on the steering wheel. Unlike Volkswagen, they give you switches for the rear windows and not just the front windows. A ton of cup holders, wireless charging, but no Blue Cruise, Andre.
No Blue Cruise. Both trucks have heads-up displays.
Yep.
So both of them have, and pedal shifters too.
Yes.
So you can bang gears and you could bounce off the rev limiter. By the way, this Predator Carnivore engine, it revs so quickly. It just goes bam, bam, bam.
And then, of
Just
course,
great.
you've got Raptor R there. You've got a little orange accent over there. You've got, if you show them behind my back, you've got the Raptor R stitched into the seat. So you'll never forget that you are in the Top Dog Raptor. I don't know if this is real. carbon fiber. I'm guessing it's probably fake. What do you think?
Well, for 114,000,
It
I
should
think
be real.
it should be real.
But it's probably not. And then, unlike the RHO, you've got your Pro Trailer Backup Assist, Andre.
Yeah.
So if you have issues backing up trailers, because it's obviously counterintuitive. So if you go left here, the truck will go left. If you go right, the truck will go right. It's a handy feature, especially for novices who are backing up trailers. And then unlike the RHO, there's
no screen.
Yeah, there's no screen.
But actually, I'm fine with it. I don't think I need a screen here for the passengers.
Yeah, I'm fine with it as well. So that's the interior.
This is nice. This is very easy to use.
Yeah.
You could plug in your laptop or anything to charge right here as you're sitting, which is great.
My only complaint, and show them out the window, Cole. You see the binnacle up there? I mean, as an off-road truck, especially when, like Andre and I just went rock crawling in it, you just have no idea, where the front of the truck is. You do have cameras, which are nice. Maybe I can turn those on. There's my camera. There you go. You can see Andre. But these things always flatten everything out, so I would not trust my life to knowing exactly where the cliff begins and the truck starts. I think they both are at a very high standard in terms of interior, in terms of off-road ability. Obviously, the biggest difference is what's under the hood. You're missing 2 cylinders, or you've got 2 more in this vehicle, depending on how you look at it.
And also the styling is a bit different, right? The RHO may be a little bit taller. It's 1 inch wider than the Raptor R. Raptor R styling is quite different. The interiors are unique, right? It's kind of different styles as well. So some people say they like the Ford interior better versus Ram, and some people say the opposite.
How do I turn it off? There it is, it's off. All right, let me give you a quick, my take on these 2 trucks. And then give your take, Andre.
Yeah.
So here's my take. So it took me a little while to warm up to the RHO, I'll be honest. And the reason for that was because we went from the TRX, which had a supercharged V8. So I felt like our TRX guys, we bought the first one in the country, was $77,000. This is $84,000, and it's got, in my mind, less horsepower, less engine, and less exhaust notes. So it took a little while for me to rejigger myself into accepting that you're paying as much. And I know the world has changed over the last 6 years or whatever it's been with COVID, with parts supply issues, with everything that's going on. But it took a little while to wrap my head around the fact that you're getting kind of, I would say, less truck for more money. I'm not saying that's true, but that's how I looked at it.
Okay.
So that's my critique of this truck. Having said that, once I rejiggered it, really enjoyed this truck. Really enjoyed it. Once again, I would say if you're looking for an ultimate tow rig, probably look elsewhere because this thing does squat crazy. We've got our Ike Gauntlet video coming up this weekend.
In a couple days. Yeah.
In a couple days, so you'll see how I did on the Ike. Now, we own the Raptor R, and selling this was one of the hardest decisions, along with the TRX. Mm-hmm. And back then, when we had the TRX compared to this, I said the difference between the two was the TRX was kind of the sledgehammer, and this was more the scalpel. But one of the reasons that I wasn't that upset about getting rid of it was because of 2 simple facts. One, the fuel economy is...
Well, both of these are not known for fuel economy.
But this one especially.
Yes.
I mean, let's put it this way. I went to Sam's Club. This is a 36-gallon fuel tank. So I went to Sam's Club twice now, and it had a quarter tank, and at $3...
Premium only.
Premium only, and at $3.10 a gallon, which is dirt cheap for premium. This still took $80 worth of gas.
But you're paying $114,000, Roman, if you bought this truck.
I know.
So $80.
But you're reminded of that every time you fill up, and that I just can't get past that fact that every time I fill up, it's like $100, right? It's a double swiper, and that was something that always would bother me. And the second thing the critique that I would have for this, and it's very obvious now that we have the Ranger Raptor, and that is this is a big ass truck, Andre. It's hard to park. It's hard to get in and out of. I'm tall, you're taller than I am. It's hard for my friends to get in and out of, and it just feels like you're driving this monster truck, and you've got all this performance that on a daily basis you really can't use, right? You can't.
I drove this here from home this morning.
Did you use it? Did you race somebody?
Well, so a performance BMW M car pulled up to me.
Oh, okay. So what
They-
happened?
The car initiated something,
Okay.
and we accelerated from a stoplight together.
Yeah.
We had fun, but I had to back off because we were.
Well,
I
which of the two was in the lead before you backed off?
You know what? The M car was pulling ahead.
Oh, well, I had a similar experience.
Yeah.
I was going up to the mountains, and this BMW, same thing.
What?
Yeah. The
Okay.
BMW guy came by me, and he had this, I would say, the most flatulent exhaust in the world. It was like, right? It was just like that. And I was like, dude, you picked the wrong man to go with, okay? So switched it into Baja mode where it tells you you have to be off-road. Of course I am, even though I'm on the highway, right? And I floored it, and now I went by him, and I'm like,
Now that's what it should sound like.
yeah.
Yes.
And it was better yet, it was through a tunnel, Andre. I think I scared about 15 cars in that tunnel
Yeah.
because my God, when you put this in Baja mode and you floor it, outside of a Harley, there isn't anything louder.
So, given the option between these two, and I think a lot of people are also kind of arguing this in the comments here, so thank you, as far as like which truck to buy or if you had a choice, right? The RHO or the TRX, right? Very imposing looking, right? If you saw this in the
Oh
rear
yeah,
mirror,
I remember you were in my rearview mirror in this
Yeah.
thing. I mean, it looks sinister with those squinty headlights.
Yeah.
More so than
It's-
that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, this color is kind of dark. Let's imagine that it was a different color, but it's still.
Still, but this
It's
you got
still-
this like inverted L over here, right? It's nice. I mean, this is what all the Raptors have, but the squinty headlights here look just menacing.
I don't know. They should have made it more different from the TRX. You know, this looks. They did massage the lights, they massage the grille, but it still says TRX to me, and I can't quite get over that. Just mentally. So I would find, if I had a choice, I would find everything. I would, stop eating lunch.
Yes.
I would start saving, and I would start to make excuses to buy the Raptor R.
Fair.
Because I mean, you can get a really great truck, but this truck just with this engine is
Yeah,
something special.
But wouldn't your wife feel like, hey, Andre, get this and get me a Civic?
Then I'll have to get a Civic.
Or
Yeah.
whatever. So you know how we talked about Goldilocks, right?
Yes.
There's that Goldilocks just right. The answer is not this or that, unless you really need a tow. And if you really do need a tow, get yourself a regular full-size truck. The answer is the one truck that's not here. And I'm not talking about the Chevy, because Chevy really doesn't have a competitor. I know they have the 6.2, and they do have the Bison, but
Slightly different. More crawly.
450 horsepower,
420.
420, yeah, so it's way down there.
Yeah.
So for me, the right truck is the Ranger Raptor, because it solves all the problems that I face with the giantness of this and the expense of this, kind of with the cost of this. So a Ranger Raptor, guys, $57,000. Unlike both of these trucks, it's actually got a front locker. So
Yes.
you can make an argument that unless you're flying across the desert, the Ranger R is smaller and more nimble, and certainly more qualified to go rock crawling off-road. And it only tows what, 5,500?
Yeah.
So it does tow 3,000 less. But
Which could prevent you from buying it if you had a bigger trailer
right,
or
but
something.
if you can live without the towing ability and you want to save a boat ton of money, $57,000 for a Raptor Ranger or Ranger Raptor seemed like the answer that I would go with.
So we need to address a few comments here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
really quick. A lot of people are asking what RHO stands for.
Rhino?
And Rhino, RAM high output. So I asked RAM this question months ago.
What's the snarky comment?
Remove Hellcat option.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people said that too. Somebody said here, Kinetic Green said Roadhog Olympian.
Okay. Could be.
It's okay.
So, but you asked RAM, and what do they say?
They said it's 3 letters to represent their top truck. They didn't really have an answer for me when I asked them several months ago what RHO meant. They said, TRX is also 3 letters. Weird.
Yeah,
Weird answer.
Weird answer.
But I like to call this truck the Rhino. Rhinos are big and wide, and once they get going, you can't stop a Rhino.
I mean, we have gone into a moment in the automotive world where the manufacturers have a really hard time naming vehicles. It's not just Ram, it's everybody, right? Toyota with the BZ4X. Really, Toyota? BZ4X? Really? All right, and even the new,
Cadillac CT5.
yeah,
They have a Blackwing, which sounds cool.
which is cool.
Blackwing.
But even like the new Charger, right? It's not just a Charger, it's the Charger, Daytona, God, SRT, blah, 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 blah.
Banshee.
Banshee, yeah. It's just, come on, really? Pick a name. You know who's the worst? Mercedes. God help you if you actually have to go.
EQS.
Not the EQS.
AMG.
Yeah.
500.
63.
Which doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
63 used to mean 6.3 liters,
Yeah,
right?
not more, no.
And now it doesn't even mean 6.3
Yeah.
liters.
All right, anyway, we've gone off on a tangent. Keep going.
Baja tunnel move, somebody appreciates it. Trevor said, nice going in the tunnel.
Oh, okay.
With the sound.
Yeah, it was
That
fabulous,
was really cool.
magnificent. Well, that was maybe worth the Civic.
I don't know if our wives will understand that.
Well, maybe he doesn't have a wife. He's free to do what he wants. He's free to,
Ravishing hip Optimus.
Yes.
That's another RHO, somebody said.
Okay. T-Rex is so much cooler.
Yeah, T-Rex is a dinosaur,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Like a
A
humongous...
raptor is a dinosaur. Just stay
Yes.
with that.
Rhino is an animal, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
What was that dinosaur with like that big crown with the, what was that one?
Triceratop?
Triceratops.
Well, it's got three lights.
Yeah, How about that? Ram, Triceratops. And you can shorten that to tops.
Tops. Mwah. Free advice.
Should we wrap this up, Andre?
Yeah, so I don't know. Thank you guys for joining. There's a lot of discussion about, making these trucks faster. Of course, you could change the supercharger, you could tune this. Tuning is becoming harder, right?
Yeah, the manufacturers are locking down the software.
And there's also this misconception. Like, we talked about these trucks squat a lot when towing.
Yeah.
And people say, you know what, I'm going to replace rear springs, I'm going to replace shocks. It can snowball so quickly, Roman.
Yeah, dude, I'm like everybody else, right? I want to be able to tune my truck, and then when I break something, I want to take it to the dealer, and I want to be like, oh, I don't know what happened.
Yes, but when you change one element, like you change rear springs on any of these trucks, now the shocks are no longer tuned correctly, right? Yeah. Now you have to retune the shocks. And manufacturers spend millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars developing and fine-tuning
here's the
these
thing.
suspensions.
I love lifting trucks, but I would lift something when it's out of warranty because you are going to mess with the ride. And we've lifted dozens of trucks over the years, and maybe in 2 circumstances have we actually made the ride better. Right, most of the time you make it worse, especially on road. Make it better off road, but make it worse on road.
Taker just donated $2 to us.
Thank you for that super chat.
Super chat.
Really appreciate that.
And Taker 610 said, really curious about the new Ram Charger pricing. We don't have Ram Charger pricing yet, but Ram accelerated that truck. So it was supposed to come out at the end of 2025. Now they're saying it's going to come out earlier in the first half of 2025. This is the new range extended.
I can't wait for that truck.
Electric truck.
I cannot wait for that truck. And Ram, if you're listening, we want to buy one first. And,
I'll call
Tim,
you later.
if you're listening, sorry that we have this here. You don't have yours yet. Might go pick it up finally.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Well, Tim lives like 4 hours away.
Yeah, maybe he'll get this next.
So
maybe if you can't get yours, Tim, maybe you can get this next. Because we did bring it here all the way.
I know.
Andre drove it here from all the way.
This was delayed. This was delayed.
Yeah. And we got it because he and our new reviewer, Jen, actually drove it all the way
From Palm Springs.
From Palm Springs, and that's why we have it. So this is the kind of stuff that my man Andre does, just so that we're first to be able to review a truck. And let's wrap this up, Andre. It's a holiday. I want to let people get to their family celebrations. I've got a lot more stuff I have to do before my family celebration. And let's just end it up by saying we really appreciate you guys. It's been a phenomenal year. And the reason it's been a phenomenal year for TFL is because of you, because of our patrons. We really appreciate that you watch our truck content. And we wish you guys the very best during the holiday season, and eat a lot of ham, turkey, or pasta, or whatever it is that you guys do for the holidays.
Somebody's asking what the Ram Charger is. Is it Los Angeles Chargers? truck.
All right,
No.
we'll see you. We're
No.
if you don't know what a Ram Charger is, you're probably on the wrong channel. All right, we'll see you guys later.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank